Marthin Hamlet, you're going to be fighting August 4th. And tell me, how's training coming along? How's everything coming down for this fight? Give me all the details, sir.
Yeah, we are soon 2 weeks away, and training goes well. Awesome sparring partners, and yeah, feeling great every day. So can't wait for this matchup.
Man, it's a busy schedule. This is going to be your fourth fight this year. And then with a win, you fight in the championship for the fifth time as part of the tournament finals. That's insane. That is so much fighting. Like, how is that, man?
Yeah, so I've been to two fights. So April and June, and now August. So yeah, but it's my third season, so I'm feeling used to this now.
Mm.
So I don't pay attention to. It feels like another day in the office. So I really enjoy it.
Man, just another day at the office. And that just sounds amazing to me considering you fight professionally in a cage. How do you get to the attitude to be like, oh, it's just another day fighting in a cage, you know?
I believe 25 years or 30 years of sport make me feel that way. I feel like for the first time very calm about everything,
Mhm.
enjoying everything, and yeah, it's pretty awesome to be in the third season in the semi-final and competing for the PFL, one of the best organizations in the world, and yeah, and still feel like I'm developing all the time and having a great time there.
Man, I love to hear it. And like you were talking about decades in professional sport, you were the seven-time Greco-Roman national Norwegian wrestling champion. What kind of mental fortitude does one have to be a seven-time national wrestling champion? That's incredible, man.
Yeah, so I pretty much been wrestling all my life since I was 5 years old. So it kind of built my mentality, and then when I changed to that back in 2016 to MMA, I kind of brought that energy and that mental attitude, and then I needed to mix up everything because MMA and wrestling, it's quite different, the two things.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I believe your siblings were also in wrestling as well. Like everyone in your family was wrestling. Is that right?
Yeah, it was pure wrestling family.
Just incredible. So what made you keep going? Where like I've won seven grand, national titles. Now I'm going to switch to MMA. What pushed you to keep going for more in this field?
So the thing about wrestling, I was not like always 100% motivated about it.
Mm.
So I believe it was. I remember back in 2012. I was only 20 years old, and I started to feel unmotivated about wrestling.
Right.
But then I sadly took bronze at the World Championship, and then that was a build-up for the Olympic in Rio de Janeiro,
Mm.
2016. And then I kind of like wanted to complete that before making me into MMA. But I felt like it was always meant to be something more than just wrestling. So, but when I changed to MMA in 2016, I
Mm.
was thinking twice or three times about this change because, as I told you, like wrestling and MMA is very different sports.
There's like it's like switching languages from X to Y. There's some of the same stuff, but it's completely different, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I felt like I wasn't good enough to be world champion in wrestling. We had some names that I was close to beat them, but they was always ahead in front of me,
Mm.
so ahead of me, and I feel like in MMA it's it's so much mixed up. So you can be a little bit good in striking, a little bit good in kicking and grappling, and you can still beat world champs. And wrestling is a very 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 difficult sport. It's like 10 guys, everyone can win a world championship, but it's on every time it's like one or two guys that it's complete fighters and very, very good to beat. So yeah.
Oh yeah, international wrestling. I don't know. Like people often don't realize that it is maybe the most competitive sport in going back thousands and thousands of years. It is one of the most competitive sports, right?
It's crazy sport and it's crazy high level. As I told you, like, yeah, you
Mm.
see the one or two guys that always is number one or two, but to be that number three and number two and fill all that spot, you have like 15, 16 guys that everyone can beat everyone. Depends on how they are,
Yeah.
how the shape, how so it's and it's yeah, it's very, very difficult sport to succeed in.
Well, and that's why it's such a surprise. And I forget his name, and I apologize for that. But it was I think he's a 5-time gold medalist. He was the heavyweight from Cuba. And
Yeah,
like to win,
lupus.
that's the one. To win 5 gold medals? What the heck? Like, what is
Yeah,
that?
yeah, it's crazy. So I believe like we had an Armenian guy, Artur Alexandrian, in my category.
Mhm.
He was like I met him many times, but it was like he very, very hard to beat. And I believe same in like Bunico
Yeah, of
MMA
course.
now. Yeah,
Yep.
like he have no chance against Burrows, against Tyler. So
Yep.
that's like how high the level is in international wrestling.
It's just an insanely competitive sport. Every country does it, and every country has good people. But yeah, it's just insane. But one thing about you, you're extremely respectful to all of your opponents. You don't trash talk at all. Tell me a little bit about the philosophy of like, I'm just going to be nice to all these people. I'm not going to trash talk them.
No, for me it's just a sport. I made so many friends in this sport, and yeah, I have nothing like we same sharing the same dream. They
Yeah.
have a family, I have a family. We want the same thing, so I have to respect that. So yeah, I just want to be the guy that my skill set is the thing that wins the fight, not how we trash talk. So I'm not so obsessed about being well known,
Mhm.
getting the star status. I just want to win my fights and be happy with my performance, and then everything else will follow.
Absolutely, absolutely. Do you think so? Light heavyweight this season, you win the title. Could you go up to heavyweight maybe next season, or are
No, I'm
you?
light. I'm I'm light. I'm light. So I look big in light heavyweight, but it's a very easy weight cut for me.
Yeah, you do look big. Yeah,
Uh,
you're right about that.
yeah. So I will stay in the light heavyweight division. I'm very happy to be in PFL and very happy to my future there and already the third season there.
Man, it's been a good career, and PFL is absolutely awesome. PFL's making a lot of moves. Maybe there's a little buyout going on. They got Francis Ngannou coming in. Like, it's a good time to be in the PFL, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely and to be there from 2021 season, it feels it feels good. So I'm happy. It's a very well organized, very nice organization, very kind to work with, and all the events is very professional. So I'm very, very happy to compete for them.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Tell me, who are some of the fighters who, maybe in MMA or athletes overall, who inspired you to get into the sport? Were there some guys that you looked up to?
Yeah, it was absolute Jon Jones.
Oh, nice.
So I watched it a lot of his fights and training movies, and so yeah, absolutely. This he was the guy that motivates me into MMA.
Not. I'm surprised that you didn't say Hakeem Hansen. I was ready to talk about Hakeem Hansen here.
Who?
Oh, he was a Norwegian fighter who.
Joachim Hansen. Joachim
Yoki,
Hansen.
it's my enunciation. I apologize for that. You
Yeah.
know who I'm talking about.
He was like, I'm too young generation.
You're my
So
age. Come on, don't give me that.
so I didn't watch so much about his fights, but he's absolutely legend. I have been watching all his fights in the later times. So, but he was not the guy that inspired me into fighting. It was to see all that, to be able to mix so many different martial arts into one. That's yeah. It's something magic about that.
Oh, it's just an incredible thing. It's just pure. It's an awesome thing, combat sports, and seeing Jon Jones do it in his prime, like he was a magician when he was out there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just tremendous. Let me ask you some other stuff. So let's round you out as a person here. Favorite video game or favorite video games growing up?
World of Warcraft.
Man, World of Warcraft is dangerous, eh? Like I lost weekends and I lost
It
weeks. I
was
had to stop playing.
dangerous. So, but I really like thinking about that time. Yeah, it felt like a good childhood.
It was cool to the things with World of Warcraft, and I don't think people realized it really wasn't playing the game as much as that community that you were in at the time. Like playing with those
Yeah.
same people, it was fun, right?
Yeah, it was very fun, and especially a lot of guys in the school played. So when we was finished school, we ran back home, playing until I need to go to the training, and then playing a little bit in the evening and the night. So yeah, it was a good time.
Man, I look back on those times too of playing video games when I was a bit younger. Of like, man, it'd be nice to have fewer responsibilities and I can just play video games, right?
Yeah.
So for people who are starting out in the sport and maybe now looking up to you, what advice would you pass on to these people?
Don't train too much. Train like, don't overkill the training. You need to look like 5, 6, 7 years ahead of you. So don't be like train 2 weeks, 12 sessions, and then the next 2 weeks you don't train at all. So just like keep it 6 or 7 or 8 sessions a week for 10, 15 years, and the rest will come.
Man, it's awesome to hear. All right, you're going to be fighting August 4th against Impa Kasanganay. And this last word goes to you, sir. Shout out who you need to shout out, thank who you need to thank, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, I have a main sponsors, BrainTap, help me with the mental attitude and the mental preparation. So huge thanks to the guys working there and helping me. Yeah, it's will be a good season, and in 2 weeks we get that final ticket and then entering the final championship again.
And hugely appreciate your time and best of luck in the upcoming match, sir.
Thank you.